Hey y'all! Today we're making homemade sweet potato pie with the traditional Creole-style lattice. So let's get started. First, we start with some pastry flour for the crust. We add a bit of salt and mix it in a bit. Then add some cold small diced butter and some cold small diced shortening. Use the dough hook on low to incorporate until there are various size crumbs. Some crumbs may be fine, others are as big as the pieces of diced butter or shortening. Then add a mixture of nearly ice cold water mixed with white vinegar. The key to a flaky crust is cold butter, cold shortening, and cold water. Allow to mix until the flour just starts to come together. We are not looking for a ball because we are going to finish the dough by manually kneading. Now transfer the dough to your counter and start kneading. This takes patience and about 5 minutes, but I promise the dough will come together. Knead until you form the flour into a smooth disc. This is enough dough for 2 crusts, and you need both crusts for this pie. At this point, you can either divide the dough into 2 discs or leave as 1 disc and divide later. Wrap in plastic wrap and refrigerate for 8 to 12 hours to allow for water absorption and gluten relaxation. On a floured counter or pastry mat, roll dough that has been out of the fridge for about 20 minutes into a 10-inch circle that is 1/8 inch thick. The circle doesn't have to be perfect. Mine is cracking a bit because it's right out of the fridge. I thought the film lights would soften the dough a bit, but imperfections in dough can be easily fixed. Make sure to flip the dough frequently so it doesn't stick. Use additional flour as needed. Then fold the dough in half and transfer to a regular 9-inch pie plate, not deep dish, that has been prepared with baking spray. Use a sharp knife to remove excess dough from the rim. We'll use the excess to make any repairs needed to the crust. Dip fork tines in flour and press onto the edge of the dough. This will help to decrease shrinkage during pre-bake and assist with the fixing decoration. Poke a few holes in the bottom for steam release. Cover the bottom sides and rim of the pie plate with aluminum foil. Weight the crust using commercial weights or dried beans. Pre-bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes and an additional 15 minutes at 225. Turn the oven off, remove the foil and weights, and allow the crust to sit inside the oven for a final 15 minutes. The goal is a slightly dried out, uncolored crust. Allow the crust to cool before using. Roll out the second crust disc an 1/8 of an inch thick and use a 9-inch plate to cut out a perfect circle. Use a ruler to cut out your lattice strips. 5 strips for vertical and 5 strips for horizontal. The 2 center strips are the widest. The remaining 8 strips are half the width of the middle anchor strips. Creole sweet potato pie recipes, lattice work, and decorations are passed down through the generations and hold special meaning. A lattice top also helps differentiate between a sweet potato pie and a pumpkin pie. The lattice also lets people know this pie wasn't just made by a Southerner, it was made by a Southern Creole. Roll the remnants of dough from the first and second crusts into a ball and roll out an 1/8 of an inch thick for any additional decorations. You want to set aside until ready to use. Now for the filling, we boil peeled sweet potatoes in salted water until fork tender. Thoroughly drain the sweet potatoes and transfer to your mixing bowl. Add some salted butter, granulated sugar, and some brown sugar to the hot potatoes, and you want to allow the butter to melt. Then, on medium speed, add some table salt, ground allspice, grated fresh nutmeg, ground cinnamon, a large egg plus large yolk, evaporated milk, some self-rising flour, and vanilla extract. Do not scrape the beaters. Sweet potatoes have these fibrous strings that are manually removed by the beaters. You do not want this in your pie. Pour the filling to near the rim of the pie plate. Center the vertical and horizontal wide strips. Place 2 strips on either side of center. Then, starting from the side closest to you, fold back the strip on either side of center and place a horizontal strip. Replace those strips, then fold back the center in 2 outer strips and place another horizontal strip, and repeat this process on the other side. Use your knife to trim the edges. Paint the rim with an egg white that has been whipped with a fork until frothy, and attach the leaves in a pleasing style. I put a little bit of cream in this egg white because my son is eating this pie and he likes his crust a darker brown. Children, meh, but usually it is only egg whites. Ingredients and measurements for crust and filling can be found in the description box. Finally, brush the top of the lattice and decorations with the egg white. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour and 20 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Protect the edges using a pie crust shield or aluminum foil, and remove the foil or shield for the last 30 minutes of baking. Allow to set and cool completely before cutting, at least 4 hours. And there you have it, homemade sweet potato pie with the traditional Creole lattice. If you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of our Creole and Cajun cooking family. And remember, when you mix a little bit of Creole with a little bit of Cajun, that's good eating. See y'all next time.